Hi, my name is Mr. D and I'm a substitute teacher. After my last video, a friend of mine asked me if I could talk about the warrior mindset, which is something that I sort of mentioned in my last video very briefly, and I thought this probably would be something that would be a good thing to talk about. I was planning to talk about it for a while. I know this is a little bit late, you guys, as well, but I have not had a lot of time. I figured it would be better for me to put it off a few days so that I could really give you a good video rather than try to rush it and have a not so good video. Anyway, so the warrior mindset, and this also ties into the warrior way of life, which is something that I'm sure I will be perpetually learning more about and perpetually growing in, and maybe I'll look back on this one day and be like, I was really an idiot when I said those things, but for right now, this is what I got. So the first thing to understand about this is, what is a warrior? And as I've come to understand it, a warrior is someone who has a struggle that they fight against, something they're trying to overcome, some mighty deed or some mighty mission that they have to achieve in their life. Now, it doesn't always have to be a combative one or a physical one or a martial arts one. In fact, that's why I feel confident saying people like Gandhi or Martin Luther King, guys who never fought physically, are definitely still warriors because they had mighty struggles they they fought against and ultimately were successful against. But at the same time, I think it's worth remembering that the majority of people who ever called themselves warriors at any point in history were combative. They had a martial side to what they did. And I embrace that today in a way that I think it's not embraced enough today. As I mentioned, I'm a martial arts teacher and practitioner. I teach capoeira, I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've dabbled in a number of other martial arts. One of the biggest ones has been various forms of Italian sword play. But anyways, one thing to understand about a warrior is that we ultimately have this struggle that we have to come up against. And a warrior is someone who is willing to look at what there is in front of him and overcome this struggle, that is willing to look at the struggle and say, you will not defeat me. I will destroy this. I will break this down and tear it apart, and I am willing to do that. But at the same time, a warrior is also willing to build up. They look at the situation in front of them and say, this is not good and it must go. And they have to look internally at themselves as well. Where am I afraid? What is something I am not confident in? Where is something that I am lacking in becoming the kind of person I need to be? And I then must actively work to destroy that part of me or repurpose it. Similarly, that creates a vacuum, internally and externally. When you destroy something, there's now an empty space there, and you don't want to leave that. You need to build something up. So a warrior also is someone who has to build something up. I've been teaching capoeira for a number of years now, and I absolutely love it, and I hope I get to do it my whole life. Once in a while, when you're working with people in that kind of a really visceral, difficult, physically demanding scenario, you encounter things in them. I've been told by a number of my coaches that it's not the gym that causes pain or frustration, but all those things come out in the gym because you are facing yourself. So I come to a point where a lot of my students have to face themselves, and I can see something within them. You are afraid. You are not confident. You do not think you are good enough, and that has to go. You cannot think that about yourself. Ultimately, they have to be the ones that decide, I don't want this to be a part of who I am. I need to destroy this. I can't do that for them. I can't go into their psyche and try to destroy that or repurpose it or anything. They have to do that. But I can point it out, and I can say to them, you are afraid, and as long as you are motivated by fear in anything, you will never achieve what you know you need to achieve, and you will never become the kind of person who you know you need to be. Anything that is ever motivated by fear anywhere will never be successful. So fear ultimately must be destroyed and repurposed. We're always afraid. You will never fully overcome fear, and that's okay. But once you overcome that part of yourself, once you destroy that part of yourself, we need to build something up. We need to build something confident. We need to remember to encourage. And this goes into all elements of teaching. I'm going to talk at one point as well about why martial arts, in my opinion, and in a lot of what I've seen, is the most effective form of education we have readily available to us today. But that's another video. So we need to build something up within them as well. Build up that confidence, build up the belief, build up the abilities, the physical abilities, the mental abilities, and the emotional abilities of the student to know that they can achieve what they need to achieve. So, as a warrior, we are destroyers and we are creators. We have a mighty struggle that we constantly face, internally and externally, and we are constantly seeking to overcome that struggle, knowing that it will probably take our entire life and it will change and evolve just as we change and evolve, but we do not give up. We are creators in that we build behind us what we have destroyed. We build something up that is even better than what we left there. And ultimately, we believe in what we do. We are passionate. There are so much that you could say about this that we just don't have time for today. And I would love to talk more, and maybe I'll do another video about this at one point. But for now, know that a warrior is someone that struggles, someone that tries to achieve, someone that destroys and is willing to destroy, even if it destroys part of themselves, and also builds. Someone who builds something up. My name's Mr. D. Keep learning. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it if you could share it, like, subscribe. That would be awesome. Let's get everyone watching these things. It really would help me out. Ashe, keep learning.